You enjoy podcasts. We know because you're listening to one. Hi, I'm Jason Falls, the executive producer of the Marketing Podcast Network. We love podcasts too, so much so that in addition to providing you with the great episode you're listening to, we also help businesses, brands, and even individuals produce their podcasts. MPN Studios offers podcast consulting and production services to help you get you or your business its very own podcast. We've helped dozens of smart people, advertising agencies, and brands develop podcasts. All you do is record your content or interview. We take that and deliver a professionally produced audio or video episode complete with show notes, transcriptions, and even promotional clips to use on social media. And our monthly subscription prices are hard to beat. If you or your company are jonesing to have your own podcast to establish thought leadership, drive business leads, or just have fun talking about your business or topic of choice, we'd love to help. Learn more at marketingpodcasts.net/studio. That's marketingpodcasts.net/studio. You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Heather Eck hosts an amazing show called Your Radiant Spirit. Heather, tell listeners about the show.
What if the colors you're drawn to, the creative urges you ignore, and the quiet intuitive hits you brush off are actually trying to tell you something? Your Radiant Spirit is the podcast that helps you listen and live with greater clarity and purpose.
And where can people subscribe?
You can find and subscribe at heathereck.com/yourradiantspirit, on marketingpodcast.net, or search for it wherever you get your podcasts.
You heard her. Go subscribe.
Welcome to Your Radiant Spirit, a space for the conversations and colors that help you see yourself more clearly. I'm Heather Eck, an intuitive artist and guide, and I believe your soul speaks in the ways the mind can't always put into words, through color, energy, and the stories your body holds. This show is where we explore those messages. Through personal stories, deep conversations, and creative insight, we'll uncover what's been hidden, release what no longer serves, and begin to imagine what's possible when you live in full alignment with who you're meant to be. What you hear here is more than inspiration, it's an opening, a chance to feel the shift that could change everything. So take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's step into today's conversation. One person will be affected by your story, at least one. The world deserves to hear what you've been through. Welcome back to Your Radiant Spirit, my friends, the space where we follow the colors, the stories, and the conversations that help you come home to yourself. Before we dive in today, I have a quick and exciting reminder. I want to invite you to our free monthly color healing community call. If you haven't grabbed your spot yet, there is still time. Head to heathereck.com right now and join us live. It's a free open gathering where we explore the healing language of color together, and I would absolutely love to see you there. So on to today's guest. My friend Brad Walsh is a podcast host, a producer, a photographer, published #1 international best-selling author, and international speaker. But honestly, those titles don't even capture what Brad does, which is this incredible thing. He creates spaces where women can be truly, fully, and completely seen. His podcast, Empowerography, is a top 1.5% globally rated platform that has released nearly 700 episodes, each one dedicated to amplifying the voices of strong, inspirational, dynamic women who have stories of success, triumph, resilience, and transformation that the world needs to hear. And I am honored to say I am one of those 700 women. In today's conversation, Brad shares how a passion for photography led him to one of the most profound realizations of his life, that everybody just wants to be seen and heard, and that sharing your story isn't just cathartic for you, it's spiritual responsibility to the person out there who needs to hear it. You're going to love this episode. Let's get into it. Well, Brad, it's so good to see you. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show today.
Heather, thank you so much. It's lovely to see you, as it always is. And I am honored and excited to be here with you on your podcast. I had you on mine a little while back, and we've published your episode, and it's out there in the world. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be here with you and share my story and my journey with your audience and your platform.
It's pretty awesome. I'll have to link our episode in the show notes, and then find a way. It'd be really cool actually to do both of these back to back to share that episode
That would be
again too.
very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I know a little bit about you, but would you please share with the listeners a little bit about yourself? And you have this wonderful, you have your own podcast as you've
hmm
mentioned, but this
hmm
idea, Empowerography. Can you tell the listeners all about that and how you got that started?
Yeah, sure. So I am currently, well, I was born and raised in Toronto, Canada. I am in Toronto now. Um, I started Empowerography 5.5 years ago now, I guess it is. I just, I am going to be publishing my 699th episode tomorrow. So episode 700 will be dropping on Monday. And I was thinking about it yesterday. I'm like, holy crap, I can't believe 700 episodes. Like I've interviewed well over 700 women, but 700 episodes, that's a pretty damn huge accomplishment. And it has been amazing because you are one of those 700, Heather, and every single one of these women has inspired me in one way or another. And that's part of the beauty of Empowerography is that I pull inspiration from every single woman that I get the opportunity and the honor to sit down and share in her story and her journey with her. So it was Empowerography was started out of well, the first iteration of it, or my dress rehearsals, I call it, um, was started. I'm a photographer. That's my first love, my first passion. I've been shooting since I was 17. I learned how to shoot on black and white film back in high school. I took a photography course and I immediately fell in love with it. And through that, I mean, I had worked in corporate for 12 and a half years. And so I got to a point in my corporate career where I had just had enough. I couldn't
Hmm.
take the corporate life anymore. And I ended up leaping from corporate into photography full time. So my photography company is called Vis Euphoria Photography, and I absolutely love doing that. So my journey into women's empowerment overall started in the photography world. So when I first started and leapt into photography, or while I was running my business part-time, sorry, I had my business part-time while I was working full-time. And I didn't want to photograph people. I had no interest in photographing people. My thing was architecture, landscapes, and I would create and exhibit and sell my art at art shows around Toronto. And I would say about 2 or 3 years into my corporate career, I was tasked with the responsibility of doing the corporate headshots, and that's where I fell in love with photographing people. Actually, it turned things around for me, and I loved having that one-on-one time with each person as they sat for their portraits. I could connect with them and learn a bit about who they are and what they do. And of course, when you're able to do that with a subject, when you're photographing them, it helps to bring out the person's personality, the subject's personality. It makes for a much better image.
Yeah.
Anyway, 3 years after that, roughly, I was introduced through a mutual friend to a boudoir photographer who was based in Florida. And I fell in love with her work and her mission and the message behind that genre of photography with what you can help women accomplish in terms of self-acceptance, body positivity,
Hmm.
self-love, all of those things. And I ended up mentoring with her for 6 months. And when I was done my mentorship, it was just one of those light bulb moments. I just knew that that's the direction I've got to take my business when I do make the leap from corporate to photography full time. And so when I did finally leap, I did a lot of free shooting because I had to hone and improve my lighting skills and my posing skills because I had never used studio lights before, and I'd never had to worry about posing because I wasn't
Hmm.
photographing people. So I did a lot of free shooting with friends and stuff for the first little while to improve my skills. And then I jumped in and I started getting clients. And it got to a point where I would say about 2 years into the business full time, I started to feel like I wanted to reach more people and have a bigger impact. So I thought, well, why don't I take what I'm doing with the photography business, the mission around that with helping to empower women through photography, take the purpose, the values, all of those things, take that out of the photography and put it into a podcast where I focus the platform solely on highlighting and amplifying the voices of women. So I reached out to 7 or 8 friends of mine who I had met through my photography journey, makeup artists, and different women like that. And I asked them if they would help me get this platform off the ground by letting me interview them. Now, I had never ever interviewed a single person in my life. I had the technical background because of what I went to school for, so I knew about audio production, video production, all of that stuff. But as far as interviewing goes, I had no clue what I was doing. But I thought I'm just going to jump in and figure it out. So I did the interviews. I think it was 8 in total. I was releasing, I think it was an episode every 2 weeks at that time. And I was putting those out. And then I hit a point in my photography business where the business started to pick up traction. I was getting more bookings and more inquiries. And I thought, well, I left corporate for a reason. I've got to shift my energy, my time, my focus 100% to the business. So I shelved the podcast idea, focused on the business. We then, of course, fast forward to March of 2020. We all know how that played out around the world.
Mm-hmm.
That rendered my photography business. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't book shoots. So I thought, well,
Right.
you got two choices here. You can either sit around and commiserate and bitch and complain about what's going on in the world, like over half the world was doing, or you could go over here and go through door number 2 and take advantage of this gift of time, shift your perspective, shift your mindset around what was going on, see it as a gift, and use it to do something good. So I thought, I'm going to reignite the podcast. I might as well. I've got nothing else I can do right now with my time. So I might as well use it for good. So I started reaching out to women on social media and explaining what my idea was behind the platform, what I wanted to do with it, where I wanted to take it. And the response was pretty incredible. Women were very happy to hear that a man had created a platform such as this to help elevate women and amplify their voices through sharing their stories. That it turned into this thing where the women I was interviewing were saying, Brad, I've got a friend, I'll connect you. Brad, I know someone, she'd be a good guest. To where we are now, and we have this incredibly beautiful platform, a community, everything around it. And it has been such an incredible journey for me. This has been, I would say, 5.5 of the best years of my life doing this work. And nothing has ever set my soul on fire like this work, not even photography. And I never thought I'd hear myself say that, because photography is my first love. It's my first passion. This is where I started everything. And so for me to be able to be doing this, and as I said earlier, the incredible inspiration that I pull from every single woman that I get to interview and have these conversations and share in their stories, that's what lights me up. That's a huge part of what lights me up. I love having these conversations and sharing in these stories and these journeys that these women have been on. And, it's the community is beautiful. Um, and just to have the support of all of these women who believe in what I'm doing, who support what I'm doing, who want to be part of what I'm doing is such an amazing gift to be able to give to these women, to provide a platform and a space for them to share their stories, because I believe that we all have a story, and it's our duty and our responsibility to share those stories with the world. Because I can guarantee you, I promise you right now, as I'm sitting here talking to you, Heather, one person will be affected by your story, at
Mm-hmm.
least one. And that's what it's about, is having impact in people's lives. And so when I look back on what I've been able to do, and releasing 700 episodes, or 699 tomorrow, but I have to say the biggest piece of inspiration for me is my mom and my grandmother. They are why I started this platform. My mom, I mean, she was a single mom. She left my dad, my biological father, when I was 10. He was running around on her having an affair. And back in those days, of course, women stayed home to raise the children while
Mm-hmm.
the husband was the one working. So when I look back on that, the fact that she had the strength and the courage and the resilience to stand up after 15 years of marriage, find her voice and say, I'm done. I don't have to take this shit anymore. I'm leaving. I'm taking my boys and we're going. And we left with nothing but the clothes on our back. We moved into a 1-bedroom apartment. My mom slept on a couch. My brother and I shared a bedroom, and she had to get a job after being out of work for over 10 years because she sacrificed and stayed home to raise my brother and I. And when she was at work, my grandmother would step in. So for me, those two women are my heart and my soul. I wouldn't be the man I am today without those two women. They made me who I am. And I am just so grateful to those two. And of course, the other over 700 women that I've had the opportunity to sit down and speak with. And so that's where Empowerography was birthed and how Empowerography was birthed.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that, especially the story about your mom and your grandmother too, because I can see even in your energy how you talk about it, that you really are lit up by strong, empowered women who do what they need to do in order
Yeah.
to take care of themselves. And what I loved about your story about the boudoir photography too is
Hmm.
about the self-acceptance, body positivity, and
Hmm.
I mean, you can probably say more about this too, but
Yeah.
I'm sure that you see for a lot of women, what holds them back is that lack of self acceptance or that lack of
Hmm.
self love that prevents them from getting on that stage to share their
Yeah.
voice. So
Yeah.
I think what you've done is created a really beautiful and I'll say safe place for women
Hmm.
to step out and to share very vulnerable stories,
Yeah.
of resilience and transformation and pain, but
Hmm.
also of possibility and of potential. And what I also loved about what you said was that, of all these women that you've spoken to, you can guarantee that at least one person heard it and was
Hmm.
impacted. So think about the multiplier effect of that. What a
Yeah.
beautiful ripple.
It is. It truly is. I mean, with the photography piece too, being able to show women who they truly are and show them themselves in a light that they never have or don't very often get to see themselves in is such an incredible gift. And this this is like there's that golden thread through all of the things that I do in terms of the work I do around this, around women and women's empowerment, and is that visibility piece and the storytelling piece,
Yeah.
because photography is storytelling, it's visual storytelling. But to see a woman step into and own her confidence in a photo shoot, I mean, it is unbelievable to witness that firsthand. What a gift that is for me to be on the other side of the lens and to see a woman when she walks into the studio for her shoot. And of course, she's very guarded and nervous. And I mean, she's basically stripping down to her underwear and bra in front of a stranger. So, of course, there are going to be nerves and all of those things around it. But when the shoot's done and to see her walk out of the studio a completely different woman, what a gift that is to be able to do that, to be able to give that to another human being
Hmm.
and to be able to show her this is you. Like this is who you are. It's always been there. You just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
You haven't tapped into it, but it's here. And it's the same thing with the podcast. This is your story. Share it. You are a kick-ass, resilient, powerful woman. The world deserves to hear the story of
Hmm.
what you've been through. You have come through the other side of the fire, and look at where you are now from where you started. Celebrate that. And so to be able to do that, to be able to hold a space and have a platform where women get to do exactly that, share who they are, share their stories, share their journeys, and share their expertise and their gifts
Yeah.
through storytelling is just, it is honestly one of the biggest honors for me to be able to be part of that. I often compare what I do as a podcast host to um, my guest and I are driving in her car. She's driving and she's taking me on a journey and the ride through her life. What an
Hmm.
honor that is. That
Yeah.
is so huge to me. It's not, it is so much bigger than me. It's bigger than her. It's bigger than all of us. And it's about sharing these stories to help benefit other people,
Hmm.
other women, other men, whoever it is that listen to the podcast, and have them benefit from that, have them take the lessons that whatever my guest has been through, maybe you don't have to go through the same thing because she's sharing what she's done to get through it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. You just made me think of something too. I think part of one of the things I've been exploring recently in my work and just in general is this idea of spiritual responsibility.
Hmm.
And you get to bear witness to that all the time. You see these people who are sharing their stories out of a responsibility to kind of reach their hand back and say,
Yes.
I went through that.
Hmm.
I survived it and you can
Yeah.
too. Or I went
Hmm.
through that and I'm celebrating now and you can too. Come with me along this ride and let me share what I've learned. There's so much wisdom
Hmm.
um, and so many lessons to be learned through storytelling. And if you think about like what our communities used to be like, it
Hmm.
was sharing in community with each other,
Yeah.
telling stories and passing down wisdom and information. And that's one of the things I love about podcasting so much too, is connecting with people and being
Hmm.
able to say, I talked to Brad, you have got to meet him. Let me connect you, and being able to form these little links all around the world because we're all connected
Hmm.
and we just haven't met each other yet. And so
That's
all
right.
these little connections add up.
It's
Yeah.
it's how we learn. Storytelling goes back centuries. Women used that women's circles, sitting around sharing stories, and it is so integral in society. Community, I think, is the biggest piece of all of it.
Yeah.
Community brings everything together, and we need more of it. I think people are starting to get to a point where they're craving it and want to be part of something bigger, something that makes them feel special, something that makes them feel seen, feel heard. And that's exactly what we do through podcasting, as you know as well, hosting your podcast. You are providing a platform for these people that you interview, me, women specifically, to be seen and heard.
Hmm.
That when you break it down, when it really comes down to it, it's very simple. Everybody just wants to be seen and heard. That's all.
That's
They
right.
want to know that they matter, that their voice is heard, that their voice matters, and everybody's voice does matter. And it's
Hmm.
important that we do that. That's our job as podcast hosts, is to make sure that our guests feel seen and heard.
Hmm. Absolutely. How do you help or not how do you help really, but when you have a guest on your show, how do you no, I
Mhm.
would let me say, how do you help? How do you
Mhm.
help draw out their story so that you can, because I'm sure you did this too in your photography times when you're
Mhm.
speaking to people and trying to get them to open up, be a bit vulnerable
Mhm.
because that will make the photo even stronger. How do you do that in your podcasting to draw those stories out of people so that they can feel like they've got a place that their voice is being heard and amplified?
The first thing is listen.
Mm.
Listening is key. Listening. Everybody thinks they're good listeners. I can tell you, everybody is not a good listener. They're not. And we all can work on that skill set. It's an acquired skill set that you constantly have to work on. Listen to actually hear what they're saying, not listen to just to respond to what they're saying. Listen with an open heart. Listen with open ears. You were given two of these and one of these for a reason. You're given two ears and one mouth for a reason. Use your ears more than you use your mouth, and pose questions that make them think, that make them feel comfortable to share. And I mean, I've had women on the show that have told me they've never shared that particular thing with anybody. And so to be able to hold a space like that for women where they feel that safe to be that vulnerable, what a gift that is. I mean, it's incredible. So it's about holding a space where women, and having a container for me specifically where women feel safe to do that. So
Hmm.
it's just through continually doing it and learning, honing that skill of listening. I cannot emphasize that enough. Listen when someone's speaking. You don't always have to have a response. I mean, it's the same thing with grief. We don't know how to grieve. We don't know how to deal with grief. Sometimes it's about just sitting there beside the person and listening to what they have to say. You don't have to respond.
Hmm.
Just listen. Listening is key. Like I said, you want your guests to walk away feeling seen and heard. So listen, use your ears instead of this, instead of your mouth.
Yeah.
Don't overtalk your guests. That's the thing. Podcasting is about shining a light on your guests. It's got nothing to do with me as a host. This isn't about me. It's about you
Hmm.
as the guest. So act act appropriately. Shine the light on them. That's what they're there for, and that's what you're there for, is to shine a light on them. So work on that. It takes time. It's not easy. Um, Interviewing is a an acquired skill as well. It takes practice. You have to work at it just like anything else. If you want to become good at something, you got to continually do it. You got to put in the hours, you got to put in the reps. So start by listening.
Hmm. You know what you're making me think of when I went to get my coaching certification when I was in human resources. It was 3 weekends of
Mhm.
very intensive coach training.
Mm.
And the first weekend, we learned how to listen, how to hold space.
Yeah.
And I came back to work that Monday morning and I wanted to rip my hair out one strand at a time because nobody listens to each other and they were
Mhm.
talking over each other.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it drove me crazy. So yeah, I could not agree more. I think that's
It,
so important.
it is. I mean, you don't have to agree. And I'm just speaking generally now. I'm not talking about podcasting, but just in terms of listening as a human being, you don't have to agree with their opinion. You are an individual. It's okay to have your own opinion, but at least listen. And
Mhm.
I think be curious too is another important thing with podcasting. Be curious. How did you arrive at this, what you believe? Like what what things happened that led you to believe that this is how it should be or this is how things go? How did you get here? Be curious. Ask the questions.
Yeah.
Dive deep. Don't just surface level bullshit talk.
Hmm.
Think. That's think about what you want to speak about with your guests. Put the time in because they are giving you their time to sit with you for half an hour, whatever it is, whatever the length of your
Yeah.
podcast is. Put in the time equally to do the work so that they feel seen and heard too.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to know because you have met with so many women over
Hmm.
time.
Hmm.
What are some of the consistent threads that you see in their stories? And the second part of that question would be,
Hmm.
have they changed in the 5 or so years that you've been doing this?
Um, I would say the biggest one is resilience
Mm.
for sure. These women, I mean, some of them, some of the stories I've heard, Heather, my God, I think to myself, how in the hell are you even still standing after what you've been through?
Mm.
So resilience is a huge one. Courage, massive. Inner strength, spirituality is another one. A lot of the women I interview have stepped into some kind of spirituality and started to adopt a more spiritual mindset. What else? There's a lot of fear around sharing the stories.
Mm.
So that's a common one. Not thinking they have a story to share, not
Hmm.
thinking that anyone wants to listen. Um, Self-confidence is another one, which ties into the storytelling, not believing they have a story. All of these things are incredibly common. And have they changed over the years? Um, no, I don't think so. I think it because everyone starts at different points, and whatever it is they go through, the journey of life, it teaches them along the way. And all of them, every woman that I've interviewed has progressed forward and been it's the resilience that is the biggest one, the most important one, because
Hmm.
they have evolved and grown through whatever struggles they've been through whatever journey. They've come out the other side. They've risen from the ashes, and it's just amazing to witness and to hear, to be part of that, to share in that
Hmm.
journey. So those are the common things. And no, the stories really, yes, of course, every story is different. Every story is individual because each woman's different. But those common threads, they're all there.
Hmm. We're not as different as we think, right? We all
No.
sort of go through the same things,
Hmm.
maybe different levels of intensity over time, but I
Oh, for
think
sure.
we all share so much. You mentioned that you leave these conversations feeling so inspired.
Hmm.
Um, I imagine that's a lot of energy to sort of hold
It
on to.
is. It is.
Are there particular stories or women whose stories have stayed with you and that you've been able to sort of pull inspiration into your own life and actively shift something or actively change something in your own life?
Every one of them has changed me and made me the man I am today. I have learned so much about myself. I've learned about empathy. And not to say that I wasn't empathetic, but I've stepped more into my spirituality has come out huge because of these conversations. And I just started my spiritual journey probably about 3 years ago now, 2.5, 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, yeah. So spirituality is a big thing that's very present with a lot of these women and their stories. Self-confidence, because I struggle with that quite a
Mm,
bit. So hearing these women's, I'd say that's probably one of the biggest ones for me, is pulling out of that and stepping into and try and not trying, but becoming more confident in who I am as a man, who I am as a human being, who I am as an entrepreneur, who I am as a husband,
mhm.
um, learning communication, learning to communicate better, learning to listen better. That is, that's one thing I have definitely learned, is learning to listen better. Um, and all of these things just tie into it. It's just overall helped me as a human being and as a man shift who I am because of all of these women. They've all contributed. Every single one of these women have contributed to my evolution as a human being and as a man. And I'm so grateful to every one of you. You were one of them. Your art inspires me.
Mm,
How you got started in art, and what art means to you, like all of these things, there's at least one element of every single woman's story that inspires me in one way or another, or that has helped me to evolve and grow and expand and believe in
mhm.
myself.
I love that. That's beautiful. I want to ask the question. I hope it's not if offensive in any
Mhm.
way, but do you ever get pushback from people who are like, "Okay, Brad, the elephant in the room. You're a dude. What's up with this?"
Um, no, the past few years, no. When I first started, there was some pushback, or there was some questions. It's like, what's your angle? Like, really? Why the hell are you? Why is a man doing this? I had someone ask me if I was gay. Um, I had a couple of women push back. I said, like, just basically that ask, what's your angle? Like, really? You're really, why are you? But then when they hear my story, because my story obviously has not changed as to why I'm doing this, when they hear the story, then it clicks for them. I actually had one woman um, tell me that I should change the name of my podcast because I shouldn't be using the word empowerment. And this was after I told her my story. She said she didn't agree with a man using this word empowerment and it's wrong and da da da. And I was shocked, first of all, because I had explained my story and where it all came from. And she
Right.
still felt that strongly about it. I'm like, well, that's your choice, and that's okay. I was speaking with her, doing a discovery call with her to have her on the podcast. And she shared this with me afterwards, and I thought, okay, well, obviously you're not my people and you're not a good fit for the platform, and that's okay. And it actually, what it did was spawn an idea for something else that I started doing. So it worked out well. It benefited because I wrote a post about it immediately after it happened, and just hearing the feedback from my community, and so it spawned this idea for something else. But um late, I would say that that was in the first couple of years, but again, it was more like questions in terms of what's your angle, why is a man doing this, like, really, why does a man want to do this? And like I said, once I explained to them, then it clicked and they got it. So I have not had any questions around that from anybody in the last, I would say, 3 years. That's not to
Awesome.
say that people aren't thinking it. I don't know. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. It's not going to deter me from my mission. And because this is why I believe, why I was put here on this planet, is to do this work. This is my purpose here on this planet. And
Mm,
this is the mission that I'm sent here to do. And nothing or nobody is going to stop me from doing it because it's important. I
yeah.
want a million women involved in this platform. I want this to be a women's empowerment conference that travels around the world. I want a board of directors set up. I want chapters of Empowerography set up all over the world and women running those chapters to help guide and mentor other women in entrepreneurship, in life, whatever it is. That's what I want. So that's my grand vision, and
Yeah.
nothing's going to stop me.
I love
I
it.
don't
That was
care what
actually
anyone says.
I love it. Now I'm curious. Did she have an alternative title for you that she shared?
No, she didn't. Not that I can remember that. Like I said, that was about 3 years ago.
Yeah,
I know it that at the time it frustrated the shit out of me. It pissed me off. Like I was really upset about it.
I get it. Yeah.
That's another thing I've learned though through this work that I do is, who cares? Why am I going to put my energy there? Why bother? It's not worth it. The only one that's hurting or suffering for it is me. And
Hmm.
why am I going to do that to myself? It's not worth it. It's like I used to get so pissed off when people would cancel on me for their interviews. And I got to a point early on, but again, I learned it through the women that I've spoken to. Okay, so what? It'll happen when it's meant to happen. And if it doesn't happen, oh well, that's okay. It
Uh-huh.
wasn't meant to be. Whatever is meant for you will never ever go by you. I can promise you that. And these are the lessons I've learned along the way. And again, I have all of these incredible women to thank for all
Hmm.
of these lessons, for helping me evolve and grow into the Brad I am today, and I'm constantly evolving and growing. So there'll be more growth, there'll be more expansion, there'll be more evolution of Brad, and that will be thanks to my experiences and all the women I encounter and get the opportunity to speak with.
I love that. I love that so much. Yeah, you're making me think about something my spiritual teacher said to me one time, which was I had interviewed with somebody and they said, you're just not for me because of such and such. And I was so, heart sick over it because I
Yeah.
thought, oh, why didn't you pick me? My biggest wound is acceptance. So I want to be accepted and loved by everybody, right? But
Yeah.
she said, not everybody's going to shelter under your tree, and if
Oh,
they're
I
not for
like that.
you, yeah, I loved that. That stayed with me. And she said, dust the sand off your feet and walk away.
Hmm.
You don't have to stay for somebody who's not for you. And I thought, oh, well, that's easy then.
Yeah, well, not everybody is going to be for you, and you're not going to be for everybody, and that's okay. There is more than enough abundance in this world to go around for everybody. I don't care what your business is, I don't care what job you have. th- there's no competition. There's none.
Hmm.
The only competition there is you competing
Hmm.
with yourself. That's all you need to worry about, because you are unique, and that's one of your superpowers. That's one of your gifts, is your uniqueness.
Hmm.
So use it, share it with the world. You were what everyone here on this planet has gifts, and those gifts were put into you for a reason, and that is to share them with the world. So when you're not sharing your gifts, when you're not stepping into your authenticity and who you're here to be, who you're truly, I mean truly here to be, you're depriving the world of your gifts. You're denying the universe what they gave you.
Hmm.
Who are you to do that?
Right.
You're not bigger than the universe. It's bigger than you. Share the damn gifts. They were given to you and put into you for a reason. And
Hmm.
that's it. So share them. Stop denying the world of your uniqueness, of your brilliance.
Yes. Yes, thank you. That's powerful. I think that's so true. So I love your mission to empower, elevate, and educate.
Hmm.
You do that through the podcast, but you
Hmm.
also have this wonderful community as
Hmm.
well.
Yep.
Tell us about the community and what people are doing to fulfill that mission.
Yeah, the community. I started the podcast in March of April of 2020. I guess I launched the relaunch of it. I didn't start the community until December that year, I think it was. And so it's taken a long time to grow community. I mean, and you have to be patient. Patience is key with
Hmm.
with podcasting, with building community, but it's an amazing space where, you know, women support each other and cheerlead each other and cheerlead me and support me. I have a
Yeah.
core group of women in my community, core group of women and friends in there that support me and are my super fans, I'll call them, that just get on board with anything. I've had women say, whatever you're doing, Brad, I don't care what it is. I want to be part of it. It doesn't matter, because you bring such incredible people together. And so that's part of the Empowerography Live conference, which was birthed out of that community.
Hmm.
Um, so, I mean, this past year we did our fifth conference in March this year, and it was the fifth year doing it. It was a virtual conference. And we had women who, after the conference, said, thank you. I finally have found my soul family. I found my
Oh.
soul tribe, and that the conference changed their lives. I mean, you can only dream of those types of things being said about something that you've created. And so for me, hearing that women have found their soul tribe and they finally feel seen and heard, which again, it ties back to it. That's what it's about. So it's just a very beautiful, safe space for women to connect with each other. I mean, I've seen women who came into the community that didn't know each other from Adam, and they've ended up collaborating and starting businesses and working on projects together. And for me, that is one of the greatest things ever, is to see these women come together and connect because of something that started out of nothing. I mean, really, it's
Yeah.
it's beautiful to see the connections, and that's what it's about. Those are the things that help and try to foster the most in there, is community, collaboration, and connection. Those are the three C's for me. And that's everything. That is Empowerography. That is the
Hmm.
Empowerography podcast lounge. That is what it's all about.
I love that. And I think that's something that we're all looking for.
Yeah.
Especially I think since COVID, there's
Hmm.
an epidemic of loneliness,
Yeah.
especially among women. I remember
Hmm.
those early days, especially as a mom, feeling so isolated in the day to day of it was like rinse and repeat every day, the same
Yeah.
things over and over. And so I would get on Zoom calls with friends just to
Hmm.
connect,
Yeah.
to stay in touch, and that community is so needed these
It
days.
is. It
Yeah.
is. And I think more and more people are craving that in-person connection as well, which is
Yeah.
important. I mean, I just, my co-host that I host the conference with, Cecilia Tement, her and I just did a retreat in April in Costa Rica where we brought 12 women together to connect. And it was a magical, incredible experience. I got to meet women that I've been speaking to for years online, to finally meet them in person and hang out and be in their space and be in their energy. What a gift, and what a trip it was. It was amazing.
Hmm. I love that. I think you're
Mm.
right. I think that in person, let me be in your actual physical
Yeah,
space is
yeah,
so important. And you feed off of people's energy, and you
for
get so
sure.
much from that too. Just even
Yeah.
like a hug from somebody you've been talking to
Yes.
on the internet for
Yeah.
years. So nice to see your face.
Yeah, to walk down the beach with them. It's like, holy shit, I can't believe we're doing this. I'm here with you in person. It's amazing. And so I think people are craving that more and more. But I mean, the online thing has been amazing because I've had the opportunity. I mean, you and I never would have met if it weren't for this online space that we all are in. I
Hmm.
never would have met you.
Yeah.
And here I am. I have a friend. I'm on your podcast now. And so to be able to do that, to be able to speak with women on the other side of the world, holy shit, what a gift that is.
It is a gift. It really is. To be able to connect with people who are thousands and thousands of miles
Yeah.
away that you would have otherwise never known existed,
Yep.
that's
Yep.
amazing to me.
It
I
is.
I think COVID helped open up more of those pathways for us. I try to think about what are the positives that came out of that time
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it was so hard, but I think that giving people different ways of communicating
Hmm.
and finding community was necessary, and we found it really quickly in the early
We
days of
did.
COVID
We
too.
did.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was a gift. I mean, I'm not saying that there wasn't a lot of tragedy and there wasn't a lot of loss, but I choose to see the gifts in it. And there were many gifts. I mean, Empowerography was birthed out of it.
Hmm.
So that in itself is a gift. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's led to so many things. It is, this platform has opened up so many doors for me and connected me to so many people. It's just what a gift. I mean, life is a gift. We are here to have an impact. So do what makes your heart sing, do what makes your soul sing, because you only get one shot at this. You might as
Yeah.
well have fun doing it. And, when you think about how much we have to work in life, whether that's a job, a business, you might as well have fun while you're doing it. You might as well enjoy what you're doing because you've got to do it for a long time.
That's so
So,
true. It's so true. And why spend it being miserable? Try to find the
exactly.
thing that brings you joy because that's the most important thing, right?
Absolutely. 100%.
I got to ask, just
Yeah.
because I'm curious,
Uh-huh.
if you could have any guest on your show, who would it be and why?
Oh man. Um,
Who's on your vision board?
Oh, I haven't thought about this in a long time. It's a question I ask everybody who comes on my show, but I haven't given it a lot of thought. I would love to have Brene Brown on my show. I would love to have Mel Robbins on my show.
Mm.
Um, who else? You know what? I have a list somewhere.
I
I
think those are
do.
great.
I have a list of 25 women that I would love. They are like dream guests. Let me just see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah,
I know this is very impromptu and not very professional, but
you're fine. I was
um,
thinking about it though. I'm like, there's got to be women on that list for you to say, I want
Lisa
that.
Nichols. I would love to have
Oh,
Lisa
yeah.
Nichols. Lisa Nichols is amazing. I'm just looking through. Sarah Blakely would be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Who else? Who else? Those are the main ones I'd say for now.
I
Glennon
love it.
Doyle would be awesome. Marie Forleo as well. I would love to have her on too. I think
Yeah.
she'd be a really fun guest to sit down and chat with. And yeah, so those
Yeah.
are the big ones that I'd like to have on the show. And I'll get
Awesome.
there. I'll get them.
All right. Well, listeners, if you have any six
Yes.
degrees,
Yeah. To any of those women, please, please, please connect me because I would be honored and love to have them on the show and have those conversations. I think it'd be incredible.
so I'm getting chills now. So I want to
Mhm.
ask this. Have you ever put it out there to your community to ask if anyone knows or has connections to? I'm so
No.
curious what that would yield because we all know so many people. It's
Yeah.
the Kevin Bacon rule, right? Like I wonder,
Mhm.
I
Well,
wonder if there's somebody out there.
you have now, with that saying that, you have inspired me to create a post in my community and on my personal page and put it out there and say, hey, I'm going to put the list of the names. Does anyone out there have any kind of connection to any of these women where I could get an introduction?
Oh,
It's worth a shot.
it's worth a shot and it's giving me chills, which means that it's divine. So
I
like
will do it. I will
let's
do as
do it.
soon as we're done here. I am going to create that post. I'm going to tag you in the post.
Working on helping you manifest your dreams
Thank
over here.
you. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. Okay, last question. You
Yep.
mentioned you've got these big vision for
hmm
where you want Empowerography to go. But what's next? What's that next step for you?
The next step is Toronto 2026. We decided this year that we are taking Empowerography live, the virtual conference, live and in person here in Toronto in
Oh,
2026.
amazing.
We have the venue booked. It's April 24th, 25th, 26th. It's a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a 3-day event we're going to host. Um, so that's what's next. That's what we're working on behind the scenes right now. It's still a little too early to promote it. Although I have to say, we do have 2 or 3 ticket sales already. People have bought tickets already, so that's good. I'm also working on something that I created called the Empowered Spirit Academy, again with my co-host from the conference, Cecilia. We host a very small cohort where we help women craft their talks and step into their visibility and get the confidence to step into their visibility and share their talks. So we just finished our first cohort in July and we are starting our second one in September. So that's exciting. And that was created out of one of those, it's not, if it's meant for you, it won't go by you moments where I had applied for a TEDx talk and it was here in like 30 minutes from Toronto and I got denied and it was a process. Like I had gone back and forth with the organizer 2 or 3 times. He told me to change a couple of things and which is unheard of through if you don't get in, you don't get in.
Hmm.
Anyway, I didn't get accepted and it really hit me. I was really upset about it because I thought, oh, for sure, he's given me more opportunity. I've got this. This is done. It's a done deal. It's mine. Didn't happen. So it took me a while. I sat with the feelings and, it's I got to the point where it's like, okay, this wasn't meant for me. There's a bigger stage coming that's meant for me, and that's okay. But what it did was it inspired the idea to start this Empowered Spirit Academy because with TEDx, you can't speak about spirituality in your talks. It's not, you're not allowed to speak about spirituality.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No. So it inspired this idea to create a platform because a lot of my community is very spiritual. So I thought, I'm going to create a platform for talks for women, for men, whoever, but spirituality is not omitted. You can speak about it because so many people in the community are spiritual. You can speak about whatever you want. You have free reign. And we're not going to censor you. We're not going to tell you you can't talk about this, that, or the other. You could talk about whatever you want. And so that spawned the idea for the Empowered Spirit Academy. So that's immediately next is in September, but the Empowerography Live Conference live in Toronto, live and in person in Toronto in 2026, of April of 2026 is the big thing that's coming down next.
And that'll be here before we know it.
Yes, it will. Absolutely.
It really will.
Yeah,
Oh
we're
my
gonna have to
gosh.
ramp up promotion pretty soon.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
I'm happy to include all of that in the show notes so
Thank
folks
you.
can find it. So yeah, that's my last question is tell us where folks can find you, how they can connect with you, your podcast, your community, all the amazing initiatives you've got going on, even the podcast booking agent too, if you'd like.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Empowerography podcast on Instagram, on Facebook. My community is the Empowerography Podcast Lounge. So if you want to join the community, just search up Empowerography Podcast Lounge and fill out the questions, and I'll invite you or admit you into the community. It's a beautiful space. We have over 1,500 amazing people in the community. My website, empowerographypodcast.com. And my booking agency, I help people get on to podcasts, is called The Amplification Effect. So all the links, I'm sure I will send them to you, Heather, and we'll go from there. But incredible. Thank you so much for this amazing opportunity to share with you, Heather, and to be on your platform, to be on the other side of the mic, which is nice to be on the other side. There's not so much responsibility and things to worry about.
I totally get that. I totally get. Well,
Yeah.
I'm really touched by your story. I'm leaving inspired by you and your story
Thank you.
and everything that you do. So thank you for sharing that with me and for sharing it with the listeners. And can't wait to catch up and see where our next path crosses
Yes,
again
yes.
soon. Yeah,
It was an honor and a pleasure. Heather, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. I enjoyed every minute of it.
me
You're
too.
amazing.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me today on Your Radiant Spirit. Every conversation here is an invitation to go beyond the surface, to listen to what your soul has been whispering, and to step into the life you've been longing for. If you're ready to go deeper, to work in a way that's personal, creative, and profoundly transformative, you'll find ways to connect with me in the show notes. Whether it's through art, a guided session, or a fully immersive journey, you'll discover a space where your truth is seen and your next chapter begins. If this episode spoke to you, it would mean the world if you shared it with a friend, left a review, or subscribed so more people can discover the conversations we have here. Until next time, my friend, keep noticing the colors, the moments, and the nudges. They're all leading you home. And for now, take a breath, hold on to what resonated, and carry it with you into the rest of your day. Thanks for listening.
This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.